Prince Harry, has he turned down the opportunity to return once again to the United Kingdom? But what is the true reason why? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the heart of London. Now, in case you're wondering, no, this is not another pub. I know a lot of people are now saying, oh, Neil's always hanging outside pubs. What is he doing all day? This particular venue is now called the Other Palace, and it's a small theatre just off Westminster. Used to be called the Westminster Theatre many years ago. Now, if you're a Hollywood movie buff like me, you will love this bit of information, because it was at this theatre way back in the late 1930s that a major Hollywood star was discovered. Oh yes, Louis B. Mayer, who was the then head of MGM, was in London for a talent scout. He was staying at the Savoy Hotel, and he was looking around all sorts of venues and theatres and all that sort of stuff, trying to find, as he called, new faces, people that would look good on the silver screen. Interesting to note, of course, that he came upon this particular theatre, and performing in a play that night for around about £7 a week was none other than a woman who went on to become, well, a huge Hollywood icon. If I say Mrs. Miniver, you'll know who I mean. That's right, we're talking about the wonderful Greer Garson. Greer was discovered here, and Mr. Mayer went backstage to see her. What he hadn't banked on, though, was the formidable mother of Miss Garson. He offered her a contract. She didn't think it was enough money, and they went back to their hotel. Louis decided that he wasn't going to pursue it because, well, he figured that he'd offered enough money. So then Greer decided that they would position themselves in the main restaurant at the Savoy Hotel, her looking absolutely spectacular, dripping in fake and borrowed diamonds. It worked. Louis decided that he couldn't go back to Hollywood without signing her. Greer got the money, got the Oscars, and was the queen of MGM for about 7 years. But as I say, here in London, it all started here, right behind me on that stage. By the way, this theatre was owned for a short period by Andrew Lloyd Webber, and that's his decision to call it the Other Palace. Sadly for him, unlike Buckingham Palace round the corner, it wasn't that successful. Back as ever, though, to your royal story of the day. You may have seen reports that Prince Harry was due to return back to the United Kingdom. This is because there's a very big celebration looming next week, in fact next Tuesday, for the celebration party of course, the late and wonderful Princess of Wales, Princess Diana. And this is all really to thank a lot of the people who've helped with the Diana Award, things like that. The sculptor, of course, who unveiled that wonderful statue way back in the summer. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I'm a little bit undecided. Seen it up close, it could be better. But let's not forget, of course, at least it's remembering a wonderful lady who did so much for so many charities. I know a lot of people are divided about Diana, but you know, you have to say that she left her mark here on the world. Now, here's the real reason, allegedly, as we often say here on the show, why Prince Harry doesn't want to return. It's nothing to do with the camera clicks. We know he got over that in New York. And do you remember that documentary where he basically said, oh, you know, he was nervous to return back for the funeral of the late His Royal Highness, the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip? Well, as I say, he got over that in New York. But apparently, according to a very good source out in LA, there's one reason why he doesn't want to return. He simply doesn't want to return alone. But there's another problem for Prince Harry. According to that very good and close source, alongside the former royals, the Sussexes, Meghan doesn't want to return to England, but there's a bigger reason why. She still wants to know why a lot of her issues have not been addressed. Now, we don't know what those issues are. We could only assume it could be things like the bullying claims, or indeed the things that she alluded to on that Oprah Winfrey interview. But for whatever reason, that's one of the reasons why Prince Harry doesn't want to return alone. Now, you could, you know, if you want to play devil's advocate here, you could say, what a silly thing to do, because after all, this is celebrating his mother. So it just proves the pull and power of where he is right now within his marriage and his life. Now, a lot of people are saying also, well, Prince William and Catherine may not be that welcoming. I disagree with that, of course. We saw Prince William being the consummate professional when they went to the statue unveiling. It was Prince Harry who looked a bit of a goon, jumping up and down and mugging and all that sort of stuff. He really had lost the royal treatment, as I call it. But right now, we're unsure as to where both royal couples are, or indeed moving forward, whether they'll ever reconcile. If this can't make them get together, truly, what will? Neil Sean in the heart of London.